Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're playing a blue-black Glint-Sleeve Siphoner focused control deck in Standard. We are currently 2-0 in this league and we'll be joining round 3 shortly. Just a little caveat, I am going to be eating lunch to get the best value out of my time, so I apologize for that. Let's go ahead and start round 3 and see what we do. We're on the draw for first game of round 3. This hand looks pretty good. Some early interaction. Unfortunately, our first 2 lands will be coming in tapped, but I do think this is probably too good to put back. We're going to keep and pass. Hand is less good against mono red if that's what we're facing. However, I do like seeing them run out a Dire Fleet Daredevil with no targets. We don't have any one mana interaction anyway, so we'll just go ahead and deal with that. Unlikely that anything there is going to come along to get fatal pushed. We can run out this as Conta or hold up Disallow. I think we're just going to hold up the Disallow. So we're getting a little bit punished for holding up our Disallow because we'll go ahead and disallow this. I was going to say we're not going to disallow an on-crop crasher, but we will. If we draw any 2-mana counter, we can run out Search for his Conta and hold up the 2-mana counter. But with Nebraska's Contempt in hand, I'm fine with go ahead and run out our Disallow on that turn. We get to Glimmer this turn, hopefully ensuring we hit our land drop next turn. And once again, if we find a 2-mana counter, we can run out the Search. It's hard to put these cards back. We're definitely keeping the land. It's a matter of if we're keeping the Hieroglyphic. I think we will. I think we'll go top. Another Search for Conta. We'll just pass again. If we actually, we should have run out the Search for Conta. Forgot to look at the number of cards in my opponent's hand. There was no way we were getting attacked by Hazoret this turn. So it made sense for us to instead run out that Search, but alright. Now we're getting somewhere. Glint-Sleeve isn't as good in against aggro decks as it is against the long game decks. However, I definitely meant to run out Conta, and I ran out the Glint-Sleeve because I was talking about it. So that was a mistake. Continue to hold up Nebraska's Contempt. I think we're fine trading, or rather, not trading. Our opponent isn't going to give us the chance to trade anyway. We're still not getting hit by Hazoret this turn. I think just to utilize our mana, I'm going to go ahead and Nebraska's Contempt this thing. If they play a Chandra, we're punished, but still not extremely because we have Alright, I'm not worried about that card at all. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So we can do search for Azcanta plus Vraska's Contempt. I can't think of any particular reason to allow our opponent to untap before we do this. We're not going to let it hit us for 5 anyway, so we'll go ahead and take it out right now. Still not getting attacked unless they draw land. No, we're just not getting attacked by Hazoret this turn. That's a good draw for our opponent. Hopefully we find some type of cheap interaction for it on our draw step. Yes, we'll put Swamp into the graveyard. We're hitting our land drop anyway. Scarab God. 4, 5, 6. So unfortunately, we're not able to interact with our opponent if we run out the Scarab God. However, I'm not sure we would need to. If they have Lightning Strike plus Magma Spray or something, we're in a bad shape. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we actually can. We can use this Essence Scatter to interact with our opponent, just in a slight way. At least we're not getting hit by a Hazoret this turn, or Glorybringer if our opponent's gone that big. It appears our opponent's debating Magma Spray plus Lightning Strike. Alright, so that's game 1 down. For the aggressive decks, they're splashing black, likely for Vraska's Contempt and Scrap Heap Scrounger. We don't really want to bring in Crop or Crook just because of that, but we will bring in not the Lost Legacy, the Essence Extractions, and probably not Bontus. We don't have a ton for this matchup, actually. We do want to just kind of lower our curve a bit. Kefnet might not be the worst. Glint-Sleeve Siphoner might not be the worst. Duress might not be the worst. Negate as well. Thematic Compass is a bit slow, but it's really good if we get it flipped. We don't have anything bad in this matchup. We can do that. Actually, let's keep this lined up. More likely than not, though, we want to keep some form of card advantage. So we'll keep in the Glimmer, take out the Glint-Sleeve. Could bring in Negates over Hieroglyphic or something similar to that. Negates over Thematic Compass, perhaps, since we can deal with the majority of their threats already. I'm not opposed to that. This gives us just some extra answers for something like Chandra, or even just getting bolted to death. Lightning striked to death, not lightning bolted. Do we want Duress over Negates, though? Because it allows us to plan our turn around their hand, perhaps. I don't believe it's a big issue, though. We'll go ahead and board like this. Minimize. Did we click Submit Deck yet? So we're just waiting on our opponent. I don't remember having clicked Submit Deck, but... Oh, we only have... Oh, we forgot to bring these in, that's why. Whew, that was close. That was very close. I was just wasting time by saving that thing because I thought we had already submitted. This hand's a mulligan. We can't keep one landers even if they have Moment of Craving and Fatal Push. We immediately get another one lander and we'll have to mulligan again. You have got to be kidding me. We can use this Evolving Wilds to go get a swamp. We can use that Evolving Wilds to go get a island if we leave this on top. But we're definitely going to be hurting this game. Leave that on top. Yeah, it wasn't good, bud. Losing our push was a reason to lead on the Evolving Wilds rather than the swamp. I kind of punted there. It's going to come back to impact us later on, I'm sure. So now that Vraska's Contempt is one of the only spells we can play, we may want to get a swamp. However, I think it's unlikely. We probably just want to get our island so that we have some of our colors. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Sure. This is very good against us considering. Wait until their draw step, and we'll hit this Dragon's Call Summit to go get another island. The news is we're not getting attacked by Hazoret this turn. Silent Gravestone is a great card against us. Alar is also a great card against us. Our opponents just kind of had an all-star draw, and we obviously had a mediocre draw. Twos is a card, however. We could deal with all of these immediately. I don't think we're beating Hazoret anyway, although if we just are patient, Vraska's Contempt the Hazoret, and then play Vontus, we're in a better spot. That has us taking 5. I don't think we're beating Hazoret. I'm just going to do this right now. That's a pretty good follow-up for our opponent. It's not Hazoret, but it's in for 6 points of damage. Glorybringer. 6 mana. Oh, the Earthshaker. So we go to 3 this turn. Does that just kill us? So we go to 6. Yeah, we're dead. Silent Gravestone makes Gearhulk considerably worse. The discard effect makes Negate or Duress better. So we're going to get rid of a Scarab God. Bring in the Glimmer again. Could also bring in a Glint-Sleeve Siphoner. Since we went down one win con, we could go up another. And that allows us to draw cards, but at the cost of life, which isn't very good. Could bring in Kefnet as a source of card draw, and a very, very late game threat, more than likely. I don't hate bringing in the Kefnet. I think we submit this way, and hopefully on the play we'll be a little bit better off. Obviously, I don't know how many of those Graphstones they're playing, so maybe it's incorrect to board out the Scarab God, but I'm all for diversifying our threats a little bit. The sand seems a little weak, but I will keep it. We can cycle the Hieroglyphic on one. That's better than it being a Beaumont Courier, at least. That was a great draw for us as well. As long as we continue to hit our land drops, we're looking to be in pretty good shape here. Scrap Heap Scrounger is such a pain in the ass. We'll use this Fatal Push as a fog next turn. For the Scrap Heap Scrounger, I mean. And hold up the Essence Scatter. Don't think there's much of anything on 3 aside from that discard spell, perhaps, that our opponent could hit us with. It could be incorrect in thinking that they would cast a discard spell pre-combat. Maybe I just take this damage, but I don't believe so. That's not the land I wanted to tap. Alright, we would like to hit a land drop. We do. Pass it back to our opponent. If we get to cast this Glimmer, I think the game's pretty much over. The Fanatical Firebrand has been getting him for a lot of damage. 4 mana, instant speed. So what he's planning to do is sacrifice the Fanatical Firebrand to bring back the Scrap Heap Scrounger. I would like to find another land. For that reason, maybe we're supposed to push the Torrential Gearhulk. I'm gonna top both. We're gonna find a land. Pass that right on back to our opponent. Our Opponent's going to sacrifice the Fanatical. We're going to go ahead and let the Scrap Heap come back, because if we tap down, meaning not Vraska's Contempt it, because if we tap down, they could slam a Hazoret or something similar next turn. If we had one more land, we'd Vraska's Contempt it right now, I believe. That's fine. So we will Essence Scatter this. We'll hopefully find a land. We did not find a land. I don't really want to continue taking 3 from this Scrap Heap Scrounger every turn. Now that we're in combat, I kind of want to Vraska's Contempt this. We get punished by Chandra, or what was the 5-mana spell they played last time? I'll take it. I'll try to be safe. Up to 6 mana? And with another Hazoret, huh? Here we go again. Land. 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 Thank you. I should have used, so I just messed up. I should have used that Disallow to take out the Hazoret. That way I could have Negate and Essence Scatter left in hand. I believe that's the second time in not this league, but the previous league that I made that mistake. So it's definitely something. There's that heuristic about mana efficiency, and it actually is really important. However, a lot of the times I find myself valuing the versatility of Disallow over the mana efficiency of, say, casting the Disallow. Now I'm faced with the decision of whether we want to... Is there a Vraska's Contempt in our graveyard? You know what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to cast Gearhulk, Essence Scattering this Beaumont Courier, because I don't want our opponent drawing cards. And this also holds back the Scrap Heap Scrounger unless they have an Abrade. Unlicensed Disintegration is fantastic against us right now. We just put ourselves in a lot of trouble by doing that line. But we luckily drew well. We're able to hold up, negate, and disallow now. Taking ourselves up to 6 life. Having a Gearhulk once we untap. Our opponent has to... I'm going to negate. I know I just talked about mana efficiency. But our opponent has no cards in hand, so there's no single card we die to. Hazoret's great, don't get me wrong, but there's no single card we die to. And they have to draw well. Our opponent is thinking for some reason. Or perhaps typing angrily in chat, I don't know. We are simply passing back to our opponent here, putting up Gearhulk. We're going to negate this, mostly just because we want to keep our disallow and our Gearhulk. If we had one additional card in hand, we wouldn't even bother with that. Now we have the opportunity to play Search for Escanta. And attack with Gearhulk. This disallow is keeping us pretty safe. We definitely want to be able to find more counter magic. Worst case scenario, we can essence extraction our own Gearhulk in order to gain 3 life. If our opponent doesn't do anything this turn, we're going to Field of Ruin their Dragon Skull Summit just to make sure we have a 3rd black source and a 7th card in our graveyard next turn. Might be just attempting to amass some burn in hand. Or some number of haste creatures. I think we keep this as well. Can we cast? So is there an Earthshaker counter in their graveyard? No. I should have checked for that a while ago. Our opponent has 1 turn to kill us, or our Gearhulk. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, which is just the exact amount we need to cast our 3 instants. So I feel fairly confident about our position in this game. Our opponent's being salty. Let them go to the beginning of combat. That's what I thought. All right, so that was round 3, guys. Go ahead and leave any comments below about any particular... that's great, man. You drew lands in a deck that has lands in it. Please leave any comments about any misplays you saw, and I'd appreciate timestamps if you can, and just the comments in general are appreciated. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will be back with round 4 shortly.